What's up, everyone? Tim Stoddard here with timstodds.com. Today I am going to talk about virtual assistants. I sent a blog post out maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and I had mentioned that I have a virtual assistant as part of my team. And when I sent out that blog post, I got like 2 or 3 response emails from people asking me, here she is right now, from people asking me if I think it's worth it to hire a virtual assistant, basically like asking my permission for them to hire a virtual assistant, right? I think that's kind of a loaded question, so I want to give some of my thoughts on it. 1, I think you need to ask yourself what you want to hire a virtual assistant for in the first place. So for instance, if your business and your work is at capacity, then the first thing you want to do is hire somebody so that you can kind of get out of your own way and move yourself up to be working on your business, right? You don't want to be working in it full time, then you're basically just like an employee of yourself. You want to be working on the business. And if you're at capacity, then absolutely, hiring a virtual assistant is a great option for you. I would caution people. So what I found when books like The 4-Hour Workweek, which is an awesome book, by the way, but when that book came out and kind of the whole idea of like outsourcing your life became real trendy, and like all the Silicon Valley techies and shit kind of jumped on board, I noticed that there was a trend where like, I just don't want to do anything, so let me hire somebody to basically do my life for me. And I think that's a really bad idea. 1, I don't think it's like practical, and 2, I don't think that that's going to lead to a lot of fulfillment. That's kind of a deeper conversation, but that's my view on it. If you're just being lazy and like you don't want to work, then I think hiring a virtual assistant, a VA, I'm just going to say a VA, is a bad idea. So with like those 2 different paths that you can go on, right? If you're at capacity and you need to hire some help, and you're toying with the idea of hiring a VA, my vote is yes, abso-fucking-lutely, you should do it. I'll touch on something in this video that might be like kind of uncomfortable to talk about, and I hope that nobody takes any offense because believe me, there's none intended on my part. But I've heard people being reluctant to hiring virtual assistants that are overseas. A lot of VAs live in the Philippines and in Pakistan. A lot live in India. There's kind of a new VA industry booming in South America as well. And, I understand those concerns. I've hired a couple dozen people at this point in my career, and all of them have been like English as their native language and in the same like culture that I grew up in, right? Like American, and I can send them inappropriate memes and like we all basically think and act relatively alike. I know that might be uncomfortable to say, but it's kind of true, right? So when people would mention the idea of like being reluctant to hire overseas and they don't really know what's going on and they can't like control their VA in the same way that they can control like an in-house team, I relate. However, my VA, her name is Davy, and she works out of the Philippines, and I will say 120% she's like one of the best employees I've ever had in my entire life. She's punctual. She pays extreme attention to detail. She communicates, she's very communicative. Is that a word? She communicates very well with me. She does an excellent fucking job. She has any questions, she just asks me. There's no like ego involved with her. And honestly, she works really hard. She works way harder than like most Americans out of college, so to speak, that I've had experience with. She's a great employee, a phenomenal employee. The experience working with Davy has really, really changed my view on just the whole entire process of hiring and on working with people from like a strictly digital, I don't know, landscape, I would say. Like I've never met her. We talk on Zoom sometimes. Like I know what she looks like, and like I can understand her mannerisms when you have like a digital conversation through video conferencing and stuff like that. But you know, there's something that is missed by never have had met her, right? But look, straight up, one of the best employees I've ever had in my life. She really kills it for your Boulder. She does the best job she possibly can. So with all of that, some downsides. One, if you're looking to just hire a VA and just be like, yeah, you got this, figure it out, terrible move. It's gonna take a lot of training, just like it would take training with any employee. The difference is you have to do it all virtually. So it's been a process to train her and to just get her familiar with how to do some of the real specific things that my work entails. Like she didn't have WordPress experience, she didn't have SEO experience, she didn't know anything about like image compression and like page speed and shit like that. Like how would she, you know? It's my job to train her. However, you teach her something, she's engaged, she's focused, she wants to learn, she wants to do the best job possible for the sake of just doing the best job possible. And man, if there's any kind of attribute in people that I respect and I admire, it's an undaunting willingness to do their best simply because that's how they want to do everything. And Davey is like that. To wrap up, don't hire a VA because you're lazy. But like if you want to build a virtual team and maybe you don't have like the resources to have an employee with health insurance and fucking social security tax and federal income tax and all that stuff, and you need to hire like a contractor, hell yes, absolutely. Hire a VA. I found Davey through virtualstafffinder.com, and I will link that in the show notes of this video. All right, thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Have a great day.